All right, guys, welcome back to Relegation Battle, joined by Jack and Josh. Josh, thanks for coming on today. I think it's your second appearance, so thank you for
Yeah,
coming and helping us out.
my
We'll,
pleasure.
we'll come to you first. It's been a good start under Tuchel into the Champions League quarterfinals and now a FA Cup semi-final as well. Do you think you can end the season with a trophy or maybe two?
So I'm not going to get excited because first things first, I'm not a Man United fan. So we're still in the Champions League. I reckon got Porto in the next round. So if we don't get through that, I am going to be quite disappointed. But we've got Porto in the next round of Champions League. So I'm saying Champions League semi-final minimum. Like, wouldn't mind getting to the final, but I can't really expect much of Tuchel. He's still got Werner up front. And then FA Cup, we've got Man City in the next round. So best team in Europe against Chelsea. And you still need to remember we got the likes of Werner up top. So if our defense is good, they don't still got to score goals. So yeah. I'll say we should win one. We should win one. I'll say that's it.
Would you prefer to see Havertz in that forward role now rather than Werner?
Nah. I don't think Havertz is a striker. I think the best you'll ever get out of Havertz is when you play him behind the striker. So I'd probably say everyone wants Erling Haaland up front, don't they? So I wouldn't mind him. I know you got the money. So yeah, wouldn't mind that.
What we've talked about past weeks is obviously Tuchel likes his midfielders to, be good passers of the ball. You've guys got Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, Chuck Billy Gilmore in there as well almost. What would be your preferred two centre mids in that formation?
Kovacic and Kante. I think that's the best team you got. Kovacic is a baller. And Kante just does, like, you saw what he done against Atletico Madrid. He was an extra man, pretty much. So, them two.
Yes, fair enough. And Jack, I'll come to you now based on FA Cup action. It's another defeat for Ole in a tournament. This time it's not a semi-final, albeit, so I guess it's a small plus, if anything.
You can't lose a semi-final if you don't get to it. So
exactly, but
fair enough.
What went wrong for you guys against Leicester? I was surprised to see Fred be on the pitch for that long, but I don't know.
It's a difficult one because there's a sort of game where it's not on the manager, not on the players, it's on both of them. So, wrong team selection to start with. I get we've played loads of games. I get some players are, I wouldn't say tired, but they're running on what so-called empty. But Leicester are a top team still. They're fighting for top four, being very good. And it's the FA Cup quarter-final. You've got knocked down the last four semi-finals or three semi-finals that he's been in. Surely he's want to win the competition. So, first of all, in my opinion, wrong team selection. And we've got the international break coming up. So, it's not like we're going to play we're playing next 3 days. So, wrong team selection to start with. First 10 minutes were good. But it's probably the only 10 minutes we've had in a game.
Yeah.
Even before Fred's sloppy pass for the goal, he gave the ball away 2 to 3 times. And I was thinking, just hopefully just cut that out of your system, you'll be good. For the goal, I don't even know what he's doing. Yeah, you can say Maguire, what is he passing there for? But in fairness to some of the negatives that Ole gets given is there's no style of play. As you saw there was a style of play. You know what he wants to do. He wants to build from the back. And you see it with, I'm not comparing us to City by any stretch of the means, but you see it with City. Sometimes they play out from the back and sometimes they do get caught. Or by Arsenal, they do get caught. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to outdo the press. So you can say, why is he giving the ball to Fred there, Maguire, because there's a man right behind him? But it's still no excuse for a poor
It's something you see with Arsenal in the
pass.
past weeks as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there was no power on the pass. I mean, it was awful. And we get back into it, luckily. I mean, we didn't deserve to be going at a draw. And then we're thinking, hopefully, second half, we can't be any worse. But we were. I mean, he made 4 substitutions. Granted that Pogba's only come back from injury. I still think he could have played a little bit more. Maybe I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I think definitely Donny van de Beek can play a bit more, but he got taken off. Alex Telles, to be fair to him, he wasn't too bad. But when you've got a player in form like Luke Shaw, you've got to get him onto the pitch. And this one baffled me. Like you said, Fred stayed on the pitch and Matic went off. Matic wasn't good either, but he wasn't as bad as Fred. So we need a goal, and he plays the most defensive midfield we have. Like, I don't understand that. Both of them can't pass the ball, so I don't know what you expect. And then I know this. I'm talking about second half. But go back to the second goal. Matic turns like a truck and gets done by a simple 1-2. Fred comes across and chasing shadows, can't even close him down. Then Lindelof can't get it closed. And to be honest, I'm not blaming him one bit, but sorry about that. I'm not blaming him one bit, but Henderson, I think, could have done a little bit better there, in my opinion. But nowhere his fault. But I mean, you could see the difference with a well-coached side under Rodgers, and I'm not saying it's not coached, but you can see the difference in class in the managers. But then again, we still don't have the quality that we need. It's still far away from it.
Well, if you're Ollie, then who would you look to sign to either replace Fred, Matic, or Ian McTominay? Who would be ideal signing?
For me, it would be Declan Rice. Because Matic and McTominay, Matic is finished, but Fred and McTominay, they're both not DMs, they're not sixes. They're both, they're not, well, Fred's not good enough, but McTominay's still not good enough yet. I mean, his passing's been wayward the last couple of weeks, but he plays his best football in the opposition's half going forward. I mean, we saw in that Leeds game when we won 6-2, he was man of the match. He was excellent when he played further forward. So, but obviously he's not as good as Pogba. And I think we need to play. Obviously he might go, but if he was to stay, we would need to play Pogba and Bruno together. So to do that, you would have to bring in a natural defensive midfielder that can pass the ball quick and can just sit in front of the back four. Obviously, Rice can have a license to go forward here and there like he does for West Ham, but then he's got ability as well, and Pogba can sit deep. But in my opinion, the position we need most is a DM, and I would go for Rice.
Fair enough. Josh, over the last few seasons, a lot of questions have been asked of Ole. Some people are Ole in, some people are Ole out. How do you see it? Is he good enough for Manchester United?
My honest answer to that question was, I was watching the Man United game on the weekend, and I fell asleep. I think it was after Iheanacho's third goal. So you can just take that as you will. That's what I think of Ole Ball.
Yeah, fair enough. Still, battling for top four, still in the Europa League as well. Probably still favourites for that. So still turn it around, I guess. But it's another trophy opportunity gone for you guys.
But if he doesn't win Europa League, he's got to go.
Fair enough.
No matter we get top four, finish second. If he doesn't win Europa League, he's got to go.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah, I think that's fair. But the other thing I want to mention is, before we move on, you talk about Leicester a bit. Go to England squad a bit. So Rashford's missed 2 of the last 4 games through injury. I think it was the Milan first leg and then the Leicester game yesterday. But he's still going to join up with the England squad. Does that worry you a bit?
It does a little bit. However, I think it's after that. I mean, it was a disappointing game, and I know AC Milan we won, but we weren't fantastic. So I think it's good just for a lot of players just to get a change of scenery. Meet up with friends from or mates from other clubs, new manager, new ideas, just to get fresh, and then come back for Easter Sunday. I think we play. So it's just a him just to get a little bit of training done, and hopefully he doesn't play. If he does, not too much, but hopefully he'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, Josh, someone who broke onto the scene at the same time as Rashford was Iheanacho at City. But City opted to buy Jesus and stick with him. United opted to stick with Rashford, and Iheanacho is now ended up at Leicester. He's got 7 in his last 4, 9 goals in his last 9. How far do you think he can go in his career with the potential he's got?
You want my honest opinion about Iheanacho?
Yeah.
If you watch Iheanacho a lot, I know he scored quite a few goals, but he is the most clumsy footballer I think you'll ever come across. He's fucking, I'm not even a Man United fan, but I don't think it's fair to compare Rashford and Iheanacho. I don't think that's the right comparison. Even if I think the best he'll be is maybe 14 goals, 15 goals in the Prem season, in my opinion.
So do you think Leicester's a good fit for him then?
It depends. I'd probably expect Leicester to go for. So I heard someone say yesterday, like he's a Vardy replacement, but that for me isn't a Vardy replacement.
He's not good enough to be a Vardy replacement.
Yeah, he does. He scored 2 goals yesterday, but I don't know. He just don't tick all the boxes for me.
I think at the moment he's just on good form.
Good form, yeah. But
We've
he's been on good form before.
And how many? So yeah, like you said, same. Rashford's was because that was Van Gaal, so that's the
2014,
15-16 season. He's been here, so nearly 6 years.
And he has not made an impact in 6 years. Really.
And Iheanacho at City, as soon as they came on, him and Rashford were comparable kind of thing. But as they progressed, Rashford went up, Iheanacho went down. He's never had this kind of form anywhere to show that he's. So I think he's just on good form. And I think once the goal dries out, you'll see again, oh yeah, that's why he got removed from City.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, he has had a couple, his goals that he has scored, I remember one of them was like a tidy, was it a volley or a half volley? Which one was
Probably one of them.
Yeah, it was a half volley or something. It was tidy, but it's just like, if you watch him in a game, I've watched Iheanacho before, and in a game, he's fucking, it's like headless chicken sort of thing.
Yeah, he's not a bad player, but
average.
Leicester at the moment with Rodgers fighting for top 4, and with Vardy
not your striker,
where he was a couple of seasons ago. Yeah, like Josh said, I don't think he's going to be reaching 20 plus goals a season anytime soon. So he's a very good backup striker, I think.
Yeah.
But not a striker.
But
not a starter.
Not a starter for a team that's challenging top 4.
Yeah,
that's why City got rid of him.
Yeah. Well, let's stay on this topic of striker replacements, because today news came out that City might be looking to replace Aguero with Danny Ings. What are both of your views on that?
Nah, they won't do that. They'll get Haaland. They'll get Haaland. Like, I feel like City's team, if you look at City, the only 2 teams in Europe that are actually complete, in my opinion, right now are City and Bayern. And the only thing City is missing is like a Robert Lewandowski sort of player. So I think they're going to kind of pick up on that and just realise they need to just go all in for a strike and they're sorted.
Isn't Ings at the moment the same what Aguero is, doing well but is always injured? I know Ings from the restart last season to now has picked up hardly any injuries, which is very good for his career. But recently he started to pick up 1 and 2, and it's just going to be the same cycle again. He's going to play 3 games, get injured for 2 months, and I just think it'll be a waste of money. And I agree with Josh as in they don't have that striker anymore.
Yeah.
However, I think Haaland wouldn't be a good fit for them.
You don't?
No. Shall I tell you why? Because they played against Fulham.
Yeah.
Granted, they won 3-0 and Aguero scored. Aguero came off the pitch and said to Guardiola, I'm not getting the ball. They're not giving it to me. Man City, they got so much movement from out wide, fullbacks, midfielders. They don't need a recognised striker, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They played, after the Fulham game, they played against Everton in the Cup as well. Jesus hardly got any service. That's not because they're bad players. That's not because they were getting dominated. That's because they just got so many options. They're not like, oh yeah, hoof it long and hold up the ball, Jesus. They're tiki-taka. So, in my opinion, I don't think he would be a good, Haaland would be a good suit for City. But I think if City go in for him, he'll go. But I don't think that's the sort of player City would need. But obviously, it'll make him better because he's a fantastic player.
Yeah, I reckon they changed how they played a bit because he's when
I don't think Pep would do that though. He never changes how he plays.
how do you kind of? I can't remember how you used to use Aguero when Aguero was like say a little bit quicker. And that would he? He wouldn't really pick. Nah, I don't think he would pick up the ball a lot. Still, I
No,
think
it's
it is
more
him.
just laying it off. And
Pass and
Haaland's,
move.
I think,
Passing.
Haaland's best attribute,
Just having the ball.
his finishing, is his pace and running in behind and
Yeah.
that strength just to hold off players. And especially at City, no one's going to give you space except for Liverpool, really, in behind. So he's going to have one game a season where he can use his natural pace and his main. He's got a brilliant finish, so anything around the box he's scoring. However, he's got a lot more to his game than just in and around the box, which is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously young as well, so always adapt to Pep's style of play. You know, Pep can implement something that improves his game as well, so it could work well in that sense. But before we move on to the England squad announcement that happened last week, quickly cover Premier League stuff. So I think the only real game that was had any excitement was the Arsenal game. First 30 minutes was terrible from us. Like the Lingard goal, I can't fault. That was a great goal. You know, what a fantastic finish. Maybe we could have closed Antonio down a bit quick for the assist, but can't fault the finish.
Yeah.
The free kick goal, you know what, fair enough. I don't think anyone really complained about it in terms of they can't do that, you know, that kind of shit, you know. The fair play to Lingard and Jarrod Bowen for stinking that quick. Leno should have saved it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was so poor, that was.
I just couldn't believe the way it went in, but, you know, as a team, you could tell that they weren't awake. And then the third goal as well. You know, I was a bit surprised that Gabriel didn't start for us because he's our best centre-back in terms of aerial presence, and Antonio and Souček are unbelievable in the air. I mean, like, if you cross it in the box, one of them are most likely going to win it. And, you know, the third goal was Antonio winning it and Souček just being next to him to tap it in. So, you know, it was terrible. And it was interesting because Lacazette in his interview said, you know, I think they disrespected the coach's plans.
Yeah,
I don't know if...
Doesn't sound good, that doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was them, maybe Arteta wanted to sit back a bit because we don't usually sit back like that at the start, and West Ham came out really quickly as well, which you didn't see. So maybe Arteta anticipated that and say, guys, let's just soak it in for a bit. But the players like, nah. So it's an interesting comment, I thought, and they only go into depth on it a bit more. But, you know, fair play to them. I think something, you know, us coming from 3-0 was a bit of a surprise because I think Arsenal Football Club has capitulated.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, first 30 minutes were awful from you. But coming back from 3 goals down, how bad you played, like, you've got to give fair play. However, can I say West Ham, that's I don't think that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
I think West Ham fans must be fuming. They're in a good place in the position in the league. They just came to Old Trafford and played awful, especially in that first half.
Yeah.
Arsenal come to town. They play an attacking team. They're thinking, okay, they come 3-0 up, and to concede 3 goals, and that's, I know they got one before half time, but to concede 3 goals the rest of the game, I think that's just. I mean, they should have scored a 4th with Antonio missing from a yard out. I mean, but then you had chances to score 4th as well, but they did give you 2 own goals.
Yeah, but we work for it. Wasn't like they passed it. I know, but if West Ham fans, I think they deserve to be a bit angry because obviously 2 own goals, 3-0 up. I think because they scored a bit earlier in the game, like all 3 of them, it helped us a bit because they scored 1 like 2 before half time and 1 straight after. It would have been so dejecting, but we were in a position where we did have time to pull it back. But how important do you guys think it is that Arsenal tried to keep Odegaard? Because, you know, he was key to us getting the comeback, just moving the ball quicker, finding Chambers well and linking up with Saka well as well. So do you think we should try to get him permanently in the summer?
Yes.
100%. He's a baller. I'll give him that. He's sick. But I think you guys should play it smart. Get rid of Ceballos and then get Odegaard because there's no point having both. There's enough in Ceballos' shit.
When he came, I got to be honest. I watched the first couple of games, and I was thinking
slow. He's slow. It was a bit slow.
Yeah, obviously that's fair enough. But as a rival fan, you're thinking, yes, he's done crap. He's not gonna do well. But Spurs game, he was good. Was it Benfica who scored that brilliant goal?
Yeah.
Was that
No,
Olympiacos?
Olympiacos.
Benfica.
That's like,
Olympiacos. And then West Ham, I thought he was the best player on the pitch, with obviously Callum Chambers. But I thought he was excellent. So if he carries on this form, and he's been at Real Madrid for a long time, and Real Madrid haven't got rid of him. So he's got real qualities if Real Madrid haven't got rid of him yet.
Yeah.
So I think Josh is actually right there. Ceballos, send him back, and then wait, did you buy? No, Ceballos on loan again, isn't
he's
he?
loan again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you send him back, and then try. I think try and get Odegaard.
But if you got to pay, like, personally, I wouldn't pay. I reckon they're going to try to say 50 or 40 million, and I wouldn't pay. I think 50 is a little bit. I think it is quite a bit, but it's a market win, isn't it? Harry Maguire cost 70 mil.
80.
80.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I agree. Like, I think 50 would be a bit excessive, but
It's worth it. You need it.
Yeah, I think we need that type of player in the team.
You can see the quality, So 50 million, although it's a lot. Over the years, he'll probably provide you with 50 million.
Smith Rowe or Odegaard, who would you rather?
I mean,
I think you try and fit him in both.
Honestly, right now I'd bench Aubameyang and play Smith Rowe out wide because it offers two creative midfielders, and Odegaard likes to drift off to the right anyway, so Smith Rowe can sort of come in. But I think Odegaard just a bit more developed than Smith Rowe because obviously he had the season last year at Real Sociedad, which helped him a lot, and he was key for them. And Smith Rowe, to be fair, like went to Huddersfield and did all right there, but it's completely different levels, La Liga and the Championship. So I would pick Odegaard right now, but if it had to be the scenario where Arteta had to choose between them, I would choose Smith Rowe because he's like come through the Arsenal team like ranks and just sort of that sort of thing. But I'd love to sign Odegaard, and I think Fabrizio Romano's 2 year. It depends on Zinedine Zidane's future as well, because I don't think the two of them can get along too well because of the game time and the management in that sense. So maybe if we want to win the Champions League, it might be good for Arsenal. Who knows? But let's go to the England squad now. The first point I want to bring up is, are you guys surprised that Trent wasn't picked?
Bro, I'm surprised Aaron Wan-Bissaka wasn't picked. Gareth Southgate's a wanker. How's Trippier got picked and Aaron Wan-Bissaka hasn't? BLM, bro.
I mean, I didn't expect him to say that, to be fair, but in my opinion, I think he should have at least been called up to these friendlies. Whether he gets picked to the Euros, I'm not sure, but I think he had a poor start to this season, but especially since the turn of the year, I think Wan-Bissaka's been brilliant. And I think a bit yes and no in Trent. I mean, obviously he's not had a great season this year, but because his standards are so high, I don't think he's been the worst player in the league, like the worst right back in the league. So it's a bit of a mixture. And I've seen like a few videos on it. I think, to be fair, they're kind of right. You don't just look at this last season. You've got to look to the last 12 to 24 months to see what they're like. One season doesn't define a player. But just because he's not picked here doesn't mean. I think he'll definitely go to Euros. So I think he's just trying to get. I mean, I still don't know about Trippier as well. He got banned for 10 games.
Exactly.
Hasn't played any football and he's just been picked. I mean, but every manager has their favourites and has their man, so to speak.
I mean, that's the thing though, because obviously Trippier, he got banned. I think he played like 1 or 2 games before he got recalled. If I'm correct, this is the last international break before the Euros itself. So I think we will expect Trent to still go to the Euros, but I think Southgate knows that as well. So for me to leave him out and for him to not have that like sort of international, he's not been in that situation or that sort of environment until like he hasn't been there since December now. So almost 6-7 months not in that environment doesn't make sense to me. Then like Josh said, Wan-Bissaka is our best defensive right back.
He hasn't been picked once.
It hasn't been picked once, and it looks like he probably will pick Congo now as his national team rather than England, which is a big loss for us, especially after Southgate came out this week and said that England need to stay on top of this stuff because there's been a couple of our youngsters who've been obviously Musiala went to Germany, Copper will be going to America as well, rather than picking England. So for someone who just said, we need to stay on top of that, and then not picking Wan-Bissaka, knowing that he's not afraid to play for Congo, and he's not using it as a bargaining chip. He's more than happy to play for them. It's a bit worrying in my sense. And then he took my favourites like Eric Dyer. Maybe it's a bit biased for me, but Eric Dyer shouldn't be nowhere near the England squad in my opinion. Connor Cody nowhere near the England squad.
Trust.
Especially that one. I think Eric Dyer had a good start to the season. I think with the overall, I think Spurs had a good start, so he had a good start. But ever since December, or even before then, end of November, December, I think he's been awful. I think he shouldn't. Connor Cody's not had a good season. Wolves hadn't had a good season, so I don't know how he's there. Tyrone Mings, he's decent, but he's not even the best centre back at the club. I think Conte's had a better season than him this year.
Much better centre back. Much better.
So he's not been picked.
You got players like, hasn't Dunk played quite well this season? Is that me just chatting shit?
I think
Michael's Keane played well this season.
Yeah,
a lot of the time I complain about his selection, but I think this season has been the perfect season for him to get picked, and he hasn't. So I don't know, man. It's a bit weird, yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. And then obviously the other thing is goalkeepers. Pickford's always been injured, so Henderson, Sam Johnson, and Nick Pope have been picked. It's a big chance for those two to really showcase their talents now. I'm hoping they get one game each because it is 3 games this international break. But if you guys had to pick a starting 11 for the Euros tomorrow, who would you pick as your starting keeper?
Are you talking about what we would do or what you think he'll do?
What you would do.
You want to go first? Sure.
It's between Pope or Henderson, and Henderson don't really get enough football, so I'm going to probably have to say Pope. But yeah, Pope this season, he's fucking pulled off some... I always see him in the Save of the Week shit on Sky, innit? So I'm going to say Pope.
I probably think Henderson's going to be a better goalkeeper, but at the moment, Henderson hasn't played week in, week out like Pope. However, I do want to see Pope in a different team because I don't talk about England quickly, but when Burnley played, they hardly concede any shots in the box. And because he's so tall, he can fill out the goal. So any long shots in the top corner, he's pretty much going to save.
And his defenders help block a lot as well.
Yeah, so I think I'm not trying to discredit him or anything. I just think I need to see a bit more of his one-on-one and just quick reflexes to see. But at the moment, it probably would be Pope.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I feel like Pickford, although he did pick up form before he got injured, I still don't think he's the right option. And
he'll pick him just for the distribution.
Yeah, I think that's the thing he has potentially over the other keepers. He's slightly better with his feet because Nick Pope doesn't really have to do that at Burnley. That's not their game plan. He's more of a kick along type of guy. Dean Henderson, like Josh said, he's a good keeper, but now he's in the game time, of course, because De Gea is not with the squad. But in general, I don't think he's got enough during the season. So I think Pope would be number one for me as well. I think that's really what I want to talk about England. But let's go to PSG quickly. It came out today that Neymar is close to signing a new contract. PSG had a big win over the weekend. They're top of the league now. So Mbappe, I think, is close to signing a new contract as well. There's got the news of that a few days ago. Neymar is now close. I think that's pretty much confirmed. Poch is obviously coming there. I think that's more of a long-term plan. But what I thought is, the attack, when you have Neymar Mbappe, you probably have Di Maria or someone else on the right anyway. That's fine. But what I thought is, it would be smarter to build around Marquinhos at the back. He's 26 now. He's been at PSG for, I think, 6 or 7 years as well. He knows the club. He can be there like Thiago Silva until he's maybe 34, 35. That's another 7, 8 years. If you build around him and build that solid defense for Neymar Mbappe, it takes so much pressure off them as well and just builds a much better foundation for them. So, now, what do you guys think about PSG's near future? Is there a Champions League in sight for them?
Probably say the midfield.
Yeah.
The midfield's the driest thing. Whenever I think of PSG, I just think they've got the attack. Their defence is... Their fullbacks are debatable. But it's always their midfield. It's just doesn't offer a lot to Neymar and Mbappe.
I know, yeah. And Pochettino's a good manager. Tuchel's a good manager, but they're not miracle workers. You can't win a Champions League final with a midfield of, I can't remember the exact team he played, but Idrissa Gueye, Pereira, and Verratti. Verratti's a good player, tidy player, but
The other two
the other two, they're just not Champions League winning quality. And when you're playing against, go back to last season, Kimmich, Goretzka, Thiago, Müller, then it really shows. So, although maybe defensively can do a bit better, I think midfield is where they need to focus on improving. Mostly.
Yeah, I think so. Yesterday they played a 4-3-1 with Poch, and it was I believe Idrissa Gueye and Danilo holding midfielders, and then Verratti the number 10 role. So it's slightly different in that sense. But yeah, I agree with you. I feel like they're going to need a proper number 10, not Verratti. And defensively, Idrissa Gueye, albeit he's good at Everton, I don't think he's Champions League winning level. Same with Danilo. So maybe it's time to invest in there. But yeah, do you guys think PSG, they've got Bayern in the next round. So do you think that's maybe their Champions League run probably over?
Probably, but I wouldn't say never.
75-25.
I think they played last year, so they're going to know what Bayern Munich are about. Like, don't forget, they had chances in the first half. So PSG could have been 2-3-0 up before half time. So if they took those chances, if they take those chances the next game, play a bit more solid defensively, they actually could. I'm not saying they will, because I don't think so. However, they could. It's not impossible.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Bayern will be too strong from this season, but securing Neymar, securing Mbappe, I think will just be a big boost for them. And if anyone's going to back Pochettino, it's going to be PSG's board. So I would expect big things for them next season. Other than that, big news broke today that Xabi Alonso is now going to be Borussia Mönchengladbach's manager next season. Marco is going to Dortmund. So Alonso has been managing Sociedad's B team, if I'm correct, for the last few seasons, maybe 1 or 2 seasons, but. So he's got that experience there. He's going to Mönchengladbach now, a bigger team. So it'll be interesting to see how he does there. Bundesliga-wise, Bayern, Lewandowski got a hat-trick after Davies got sent off in about the 12th minute.
Different breed, man.
Yeah, just scored 4 goals before half-time with a man down. So they're looking very strong. Dortmund, on the other hand, went early, 1-0 up early through Erling Haaland. Conceded 2 poor goals against a team that's not really tying them in the table either. Then Haaland rescued a point for them later at the end, and you can see that he's so annoyed when he went off the pitch. So it's not looking good for them in terms of probably keeping him and the top 4 race, because Frankfurt won, I think, 5-1 or 5-0. I'm not too sure, but
something like that,
yeah. So that was the main top 4 rivals at them at that point. Luckily, Leverkusen lost though, so. It's not the worst weekend for them, but it's a great weekend for Inter Milan. Juventus lost to Benevento 1-0, so Juve are now 10 points behind Inter in terms of title race. So there's a lot of pressure on Andrea Pirlo now, but they did announce that Ronaldo will definitely be staying next season. So I guess there's a minor boost for them. AC Milan did win though. It looked like they were going to lose as well. They were 2-1 down to Fiorentina. I think Ribéry put them in the lead, but they pulled it back to 3-2. So they're still keeping the pressure on Inter, but looking a bit better in the field of Inter. La Liga, it was a good weekend for Barca. They won 6-1. I think Serginho Dest scored 2, Messi scored 2, so good week for them. And they're putting the pressure on Atletico, but Atletico also survived a late scare. Oblak saved a penalty in like the 86th minute. They ended up winning 1-0. So, with them out of the Champions League as well, I think, I know they're out of the Copa del Rey because they lost to some lower league team as well in that. So La Liga is all they got now. Same with Barca, Real Madrid maybe soon as well. So I think that's probably the title race to look out for right now, because Bayern seem a bit more comfortable in the Leipzig are still there. City obviously clearing R1 as well. The Liga's not bad. 4 points separates PSG in the top and Monaco, but obviously, not the greatest quality of football there. So I just wouldn't recommend watching it apart from PSG. But I think that is all, pretty much all the news from this week. Unless you guys have anything I missed.
No.
Well, I guess
spoke about Man United going out. Yeah, we spoke about that.
Yeah, we spoke about it just.
Well, I guess we've got about 2 minutes quickly before we do. The one thing is, I want to ask you a question on what do you think should be Slavia Prague's punishment? Because obviously we can't definitely say that he was racist towards Glenn Kamara, but I think Glenn Kamara's story makes a lot more sense. And I think if you look at the images, he can see who's right there. So would you?
You are the fucking guy. What did you say? You are the fucking guy.
That was Slavia Prague players' excuse. He said, "You're a fucking guy." Kamara said, "You're a fucking monkey," which is what, as in that was what said to him. I think I know which one makes more sense and which one it looked like he said.
You don't cover your mouth. In saying that, I think it's disgusting. It's still going on.
Do you think they should be kicked out of the Europa League?
I don't know. I remember when Jack Racy abused me in a football match back in year 12.
I mean, it's difficult because I think it's happened before, but I don't think anyone's been banned. So you can't say, they should be banned because they did it. But you probably go back, you could probably find another game which has happened, but nothing happened. Like, they haven't been kicked out. So, I mean, I think that should happen from now on. I think if a team is found racist, then they should be kicked out. Like, quickly going back to that PSG physics match, that official, he's off now. So I think they should be kicked out, but I'm not sure if they will.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a sticky one because personally, everyone's like, you should just it's like Zahaba's knee, isn't it? It's like if you walk off, it'll still happen. So
it's
like
it shouldn't be happening, but I think you even have to do something. Now's the time to prove that they're on top of it and they will let it happen. I think that's the.
I think the fans made it worse as well. Those banners.
Yeah, it's stupid, but this about end any second now. So let's wrap it up. We'll leave it to the people watching. But that's all for this week. Again, thank you, Josh, for coming and helping us out. Jack, thank you as well. Have a nice.
Catch you in a bit.
I think it's time to talk. I think it's time we sit down and just say what's going on. I think we should say everything that's right.